My name is Harry Aaron, and I've been working as a photographer and a film producer within the world of professional wrestling for about 10 years now. And in that time, I've met a lot of people and I've had a lot of conversations, and I feel like it's time that I share some of those with you. Welcome to the first episode of How to Fall, featuring Jason Cade.
I could go off the deep end. I could kill all my best friends. I could follow those stylish trends. And God knows I could make amends. But I've got an angry heart filled with cancers and poppy tarts. If this is how you folks make art, it's fucking depressing. And it's sad to know that we are not alone. And it's sad to know there's no honest way out.
Oh, man, the first episode?
Episode 1.
Oh, the best episode.
Yeah, buddy. Well, episode 2, you got some stiff competition. We got Simon Gotch coming in.
Oh, man, he can talk for
hours and hours.
Oh, man. I haven't seen him lately at the gym. Obviously, can't see him at the gym because the gyms are closed. But I've seen him at the gym, and he'll just stop me and just talk.
Yep.
And the only person that can talk more than him is Mike Perot.
Yes! Oh,
my God. Mike. And I like both of these guys. They're both really, but holy shit can they talk.
Man, me and Meg ran into Perot and his now his husband at like the Tasty Tuesdays food truck takeover thing they do over in Milk District in Milk District. And very literally, it was like, oh, hello, good to see you, immediately leading into a 30-minute conversation about the place of heavyweights in professional wrestling. And just my girlfriend and his husband looking at each other, just 1,000-yard stare.
So there was one time, this is right, I want to say this is 2017-ish. Because he had just came out, like he came out of the closet, and I mean I didn't even know. Like I'm so out of the loop with things. I don't pay attention to things. I find out about things like I found out about Alley Cat and MJF breaking up like 6 months after it happened. Like people were like, "Weren't you on Twitter?" I was like, "No, I wasn't on Twitter. I wasn't paying attention to Twitter. I pay attention more now."
Yeah.
Because I have my little video series. Cheap plug.
We'll get into the plugs later.
Yeah. But like. There was a time where like we had this big group. We go to 2.0 and we would train with like, me, Sammy Callahan, Ricochet, Tess at the time. That's how long ago this was. He would come through. So there was one we were finishing up, and Ricochet was like, "Yeah, you're gonna come over?" I was like, "Yeah, I'll be over in a little bit. I'm just gonna go home, drop something off. I think I was gonna grab another controller or something like that. I don't remember what it was, but then." Perot stops me. He starts talking to me. He's like, "Yeah, because like I'm gay." I was like, "Oh, cool. I didn't know." He's like, "Oh yeah." He's just talking, and this turns into I kid you not, a 2-hour conversation. And I'm standing at my car for 2 hours, like trying to get in, and he's just talking and talking and talking and talking. And it's like, man, like how do I just tell him to shut up? But like. I think he's good to talk. He's a good person to talk to. I like talking to him.
Mike is a wonderful guy. He just really gets going.
Yeah. I don't know, like if he doesn't get out of the house or something. I don't know, but he just when he starts talking, he just goes.
Yeah.
Like to the point where I finally got to Ricochet's house. He's like, "I thought you weren't coming. Like you've been there for." I was like, "No, I was standing for 2 hours."
Man,
he's like, "Holy shit!"
No, it fully happens. It fully happens.
Oh man.
Oh, buddy. So yeah, no. You mentioned a little bit there your video series that you've got going, but I mean prior to that, you've done different things between streaming. You've done your little e-fedding.
Oh, it's coming back.
Yeah,
I have all this time on my hands. WHW is coming back.
So talk about WHW.
So WHW started. I want to say it was when WWE 2K16 was out.
Okay.
I was living with Sammy Callahan at the time. Ember Moon and Matt Palmer were living in our neighborhood, and Rich Swan was living across the street. So every Wednesday, we would get together, like me, Sammy, Matt, and Swan. We'd get together, we'd play WWE 2K16 every Wednesday. And it transitioned into 17. And in 17, that's when we started really creating people. And we have all these like fake guys like Bobby D, Bryce Carter, Stalker, all this stuff. And we just playing this game, and we start like doing the universe and like making our own company called Wrestle House Wrestling, and then like it just became a thing. it consumed our lives. Like, Rich Swann would cancel his flight on Sunday night and rebook himself for a Monday morning flight to go to Raw just so he had an extra day to play video games with us.
Wrestle House
Wrestling is that's just how it came. I could go this if I talked all about Wrestle House Wrestling. This could go on literally the entire episode. But like it literally was a thing, and we just played every Wednesday. Like I specifically changed my schedule so I didn't have to work on Wednesdays because Swan would be home by Wednesdays because. At the time, Raw was on Monday, SmackDown was on Tuesdays, and 205 was getting taped also. So Swan would come home Wednesday, so that was the day. Wednesday and Thursday was the days. But like he would come home, he would get home Wednesday morning, he would like sleep for a while, and he just show up at the house. Like Rich Swann's a guy that like. If there's anyone that can survive an apocalypse with nothing, it's Rich Swann. Like this man, since I've known him since 2013 now. He's had so many different phones. He's always like losing his phone or breaking his phone. Like there's times he doesn't answer his phone. You can't get in touch with it. He's off social media. Like you can't get in touch with Rich Swann. So when I want to talk to Swann, I just go to his house. He's the only person that just show up at his house. If he's home, he's home, and if he's not, he's not. But,
like an '80s sitcom. It's just
for real.
You just gotta bust in the door, and it's like, oh, Swann's here.
Cool. That's how he would be with us. Like there was times he'd just come knock on the door, and if I was in like if we were in our rooms, because our rooms were like in the back, we wouldn't hear. So he's like at times walked around to my window and knocked on my window, like, oh, what's up? And we'd come and just be hanging out all day. Like that's just how you gotta get in touch with. If everyone that says, "Oh, I can't get in touch with Swann," you gotta just go to his house. If you don't know where he lives, oh well.
I've heard that with multiple people. Like I feel like what is it? I think Jack Evans was another guy that I heard was like, especially after he was spending more time in Mexico, it was like if you want to book Jack, you just kind of have to know Jack at that point.
Yeah.
Or like you have to have like a good word put in.
Yeah.
Like it was a very like multi-channel system.
Yeah.
It wasn't like, no, there's an email address that you contact Jack Evans at.
I don't even think they don't think he has it. Well, he might have to have one for
Well, I think he had to get one for like PayPal's sake so that people could actually pay him.
Yeah.
But
he didn't have a phone for a while.
He seemed content.
Yeah, like, he was like at Lucha Underground. Like he just thought he didn't have a phone. He just living my life. It's like that's a
transient individual. He was a pro wrestler by trade, and he could just ply his trade wherever he went.
That's the dream, honestly. So like a couple weeks ago, me and Swan were hanging out. We went down this YouTube rabbit hole of like these people that like disappear and then show up like decades later. And like one lady, she like went missing, and then she turned up like 30 years later in another
with like a different name or something.
Yeah, different. Yeah. But she didn't legally change her name, and she paid for everything in cash, so she couldn't like get traced. And so because she didn't legally change her name, she didn't commit identity fraud, so she couldn't get in trouble for it.
She just went off the grid.
She just went off the grid. And then there was another guy that like when they found her, he was like, I just want to get away from my wife. And I was like, that's just insane. Like, it's wild. Like back in those days, like the 60s, 70s and stuff.
Yeah, no, where you literally, if you moved over if you moved over a few zip codes,
yeah, like dude,
and you got a different phone, like you could just be dead to your entire life.
For real, like dudes would have like a wife and 4 kids in this town, and then 2 towns over have a whole nother wife and kid. And, like just this family thinks he's going to work, that family thinks he's going like.
Yeah, one thinks he's on night shift, one thinks he's on day shift.
Yeah, and then how do you keep up with that? Like that's what I don't. How do you support 2 families? Like I don't. And then like that's just like guys would just be like, oh, I'm going to the store for a pack of cigarettes and never come back. Like you hear those jokes, but that was real. And I was like, man, that's how I want to disappear. So when Jason Cade just disappears off the face of the earth, and I say I'm going for like a pack of blunt wraps or something and never come back, that's what it is. I'm just starting a new life. That's how I'm going to retire from wrestling.
I heard there was a store in Tampa that still has mint jewel pods, and I'm going to go find them, and then you're just never seen again. Yeah, that's the end of the day.
Well, that's how I'm going to retire from wrestling. I've been to these retirement tours and everything. Nope, I'm just going to like just disappear one day. Like I'm going to be the guys like, whatever happened to Jason Cade? That's going to be me.
A big thing, like when I came up in the New England scene, one of the guys that was very much like the guy who held Wrestler's Court when I was first working in production, when I was first being a trainee, was Tommaso Ciampa. And I trained for about 6 months and then had a really horrific leg injury that caused me to just say, I'm going to get out of the ring and just do production. And I made jokes at the wrestling school because I still came by to like tape class matches for people and tape their promos and help them watch it back. And I'd crack jokes with friends and be like, yeah, no, my tragic retirement all too early. Tommaso was a guy that took it very seriously in the sense that he would say to me, you cannot retire if you never had a career. Like, he was very much that type of person where it was like you have to make it before you can take it away. Yeah. Otherwise, you've just sort of been you've been attempting. Yeah. But there has to be a level of success attained. And I think it's very interesting how everybody in this field, across fields, you can personalize your expectations about what success is to you. And I think that, especially in professional wrestling, now that we're in a point where it's completely non-linear. There's not a singular path of you go here, you go here, you go here, you go here. You're a star, you retire. Like, it's so individualized at this point, both with the decentralized media, the fact that everybody has YouTube channels, everybody has streaming, or they've got a DVD deal, or they're on IWTV, or they're on Fight, or whatever it might be. You could open yourself up to the same number of eyes with a GIF on Twitter as you would a enhancement match on SmackDown. Like, it's a completely different time than it was even 5 years ago.
Yeah, like, because I was talking to someone about how everything's so different. Even when I started, like,
because you said you started 2012.
2012 was June of 2012 when I first started training.
Okay.
And like, it's so different from just then. Hell, it's different from just like 2017. It's so different now. Like, 2013 was when I came down here to Florida. 2012, I was still working up in Massachusetts, and it was still a time where like the network wasn't a thing yet. I don't think in 2012. No. 2014.
It was all still pay-per-views and it was DVDs. And in the case of the indies, it was very much DVDs because the bigger companies, Ring of Honor, PWG, Chikara, IWA, like, they were surviving off of DVDs. And I mean, if you were hooked in with high spots, so if you were like PWX or like NEW, you had a little bit of a leg up. Yeah. But, it was still like there were these very specific hubs. You were like a Smart Mark indie, you were a high spots indie. PWG kind of fell into the high spots category, but they were just sort of their own island. Yeah. But like, you had to be with one of these companies if you wanted to really get eyes on you. Because this was also still a time when I feel like a lot of promoters were scared to put full-length matches on YouTube because they felt it would cannibalize their DVD business. Or in the case of Chaotic, they felt that it would cannibalize their live event business. They had this mentality that fans would think, oh, if I can see it for free on YouTube in a week, then why would I go to the show? Obviously, we've had enough, testing in time since then that has proved that's not the case. I mean, I look at a company like Limitless that I work with now. They'll readily put 2 or 3 matches from a show on YouTube 3 days later. It doesn't hurt their attendance. It just gives more people a chance to check out the product.
Yeah, I mean, I've been saying that. I remember back in the FIP days, I was saying to them, I was like, hey, just release a match or two. Like, pick a match and just release, or like, highlight video, something. And like, no one would listen to me. People still don't want to listen to me. But like, I'm like, hey, this is what we need. This is what we should be doing. Oh no, we can't do that. Blah, blah. And then like now they're doing their WWN freebie, which good for them. But like, I tell PWX all the time, hey, we need to be doing this. We need to be doing that. We need to be doing this. We need a hashtag for every show so people could, and we did let fans know, hey, tweet during the show, because like, PWX is not where it was 4 years ago. Like, as far as like on the spectrum of indie wrestling, like there's things they can do to change that. Like I'll pay attention to everything. I'll see how's this place doing this, how's this place doing that, and I'll try to see what I can do to try to make PWX. Like PWX is the place I'm that and Revolver are the 2 places I'm at the most. So of course and Revolver's doing great, and so of course I want like the places I work to do well. So yeah, I'm just throwing out suggestions all the time because when I'm at work, I'm constantly on my phone. So like, I'm just always seeing things and like, hey, we should try this. Let's try that. I don't know.
I've talked to Sammy about Revolver a couple of times, and I think he benefits from the fact that, because that's Iowa.
Yeah, Iowa and Ohio.
Iowa and Ohio. Well, Iowa more specifically, I think he really benefits from the fact that he's been able to craft a territory out of it, and that unlike the tri-state area, unlike SoCal, it's not a big scene for wrestling.
There's
and
nothing.
So, yeah, well, in entertainment, there's this whole idea that I think when certain people get into the industry, they think to themselves, if I want to run a show and I want fans to be there, I got to run in a place where a lot of action is. I got to run in the downtown district. I got to run in, in places where a lot of stuff happens. No. If you're starting out or if you're running, a smaller event, your absolute best bet is to run in a place where you're the only show in town, or you're one of the only options in town. You get out there, you flyer, you pay for radio ads or a billboard or whatever you're going to do in a second or a third level market. And yeah, he draws 800 people, 1,000 people to his shows at Revolver.
It feels and sounds like there's like 5,000 people there.
Yeah.
They're so loud, and I tell people like what I've noticed over the last year and a half is the best crowds are not wrestling crowds. Like there's a place Mayhem on Mills that's doing it right now.
Yeah,
and I've been trying to tell PWX, hey, look, stop running these armories. Yeah, the crowd's not bad at PWX, but they could be better. If you look at what Fest Wrestling was doing,
yeah,
like you target to non-wrestling fans, these hipsters who just want to come out and get drunk and have fun. And then wrestling fans are gonna come anyway because it's a wrestling show, and then they're gonna sit there and they're gonna fill in the guys who don't really know what they're seeing.
Yeah, who just came to get drunk and see people get hit.
And then you're gonna create new wrestling fans. Like Mayhem on Mills, I'll say a good 45% of that crowd is non-wrestling fans.
No, they're people that found out about it at Will's Pub because that's the promoter, Will.
Yeah,
just who wanted to get into wrestling.
So they don't really watch wrestling, but they go to this show every other month, and they see those guys and girls in that ring, and they think those are the best wrestlers in the world. And they're loud and they love every single, and that's why.
And those are the best fans.
That's why it's such a great atmosphere.
Those are the best fans.
Yeah,
I've had this conversation with multiple people that firmly believe that the Orlando and the Central Florida wrestling scene was killed by NXT running weekly television tapings because they don't really see Mayhem or even No Peace as something comparable to a traditional wrestling show. And the thing is, I don't think you need to be a traditional wrestling show to still have a place in the scene. Like we were just talking about, Mayhem on Mills is running a portrait studio, like the Orange Studio, as their venue, and they're right they're right by the fucking punk clubs and the rock clubs that the other promoter owns, on the same stretch. And so they'll get a couple hundred people to pack them in there, and everyone has fun.
There was 200 people at the last show, and it felt like 800.
Yeah, and have you done No Peace yet?
I did one No Peace show, and it was when they were early starting out,
still figuring it out, beta testing.
So they booked me against Andrew Rabbit. I was like, I don't really want to do a deathmatch show. And Andrew was like, I don't want to do either. So we were like, let's give them comedy. So we give them comedy. So it wasn't really that many people there because they would maybe their second show.
Okay.
So we're just making a whole big fart joke, and we're I think I hit him with a pumpkin or something like that. We weren't bleeding or hitting light tubes or anything.
Yeah.
Right? People were boo, we want blood. I was like, we ain't getting here. Fuck off. I gave him something I did a dive off the balcony and Everett caught me. He did a moonsault off the stage. We gave him that, but for the most part, we're that's not our.
There are some serious ghouls in the crowd at Mayhem. My first Mayhem show that I shot was not the last one they had at Soundbar, but the one before. And I mean, you had guys like Kevin Blackwood, Alley Cat, Treehouse Lee, all these different people that are out there and active in the scene that might not be known as deathmatch people. But they come to No Peace and they're like, yeah, I'll take a backdrop into some tubes. And I'm just like, oh, all right.
More power to you, man.
Yeah.
I respect every single person. Nick Gage, I respect the fuck out of Nick Gage. He's one of the best fucking guys out there. Nick Gage is an experience, his matches. It's a certain aura with Nick Gage that, you get for his matches. But, the deathmatch, I could do. I've taken thumbtacks. I've taken barbed wire, but I've never done light tubes. I don't know if I could do light tubes.
It's a scary barrier.
Yeah. Like I could do hardcore and deathmatch is different. I can do hardcore.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've never tried. I never attempted to do deathmatch.
I feel like the people that I talk to that do tubes, they really, once they've done them, they talk them down for the fact that it's not a puncture wound. It's really just like a scrape that bleeds well because it's so light. But like, yeah, even still, like you said, it's a scary one because not only do you have the glass, you've got the mercury.
Yeah,
like, it's a whole new beast. It's a threshold to cross.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I don't know. I won't never say never. I won't say never, but I haven't yet.
Yeah, fair. I was pretty good friends with Flip Gordon when he was first coming up, and I remember hearing that he went to a show in New Jersey. This would have been like maybe less than a year into his career, and he went to a show in New Jersey, and he did a light tube spot where he took like a baseball bat style swing to the side of the head with a light tube, and all I could think was, why did you do that? What was the goal? Like, what? You don't seem like you want to get into death matches. And he tells me, yeah, but it was Scott Hall who swung it at me. And I'm like, okay, I kind of get it now. I kind of get it. It was like one of the early Game Changer shows.
Yeah.
And he just took like a light tube to the head, and I'm like, okay, I get that. You're just not like, you're that young in your career. You don't want to say no to Scott Hall hitting you with a light tube.
When you're young, like a year in, you don't want to say no to anything.
No, I mean,
here's another story for you.
Okay, give me a story.
One of my favorite, a Moose story. Like, nothing brings the locker room together like a good Moose
Love
story.
a good Moose story.
So me and Moose were both like a year in. This is the pre-show for Evolve in 2014. Yeah, I think it was 2014 because they did Tampa Friday, Orlando Saturday, Jacksonville Sunday. And real quick before I go off, that building in Jacksonville they used to have, it was awesome because the ring was like in a pit.
Ooh.
And then like the crowd would be like around it. It should look like Fight Club. It was great, but then the building got condemned and
such is life,
shut down and all that. But it started off. It was supposed to be like me versus Maxwell Chicago. Yeah, there's a name for you.
Yeah.
And then it ended up being like a six-man.
OGFIP.
Yeah, it ended up being like I've been around for a while. It ended up being like a 6-man tag. It was me, Aaron Solo, my former tag partner, Chico Adams versus Moose, Maxwell Chicago, and Josh Hess.
Good old Josh Hess.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
So I remember like, yeah, I'll take heat, whatever. And I go, all right, Moose, what do you want to cut me off with? He goes, I throw a real nice drop kick. And in my head at the time, I'm thinking everything I've learned about wrestling, been told, is this big guy should be drop kicking me. Like it's something I should do, but I'm not gonna tell him no. Like he was in the NFL. I knew exactly who he was. I had him on my team in Madden. I knew who he was. I wasn't gonna say no. So I was like, okay. So spot comes. I give him a couple forearms. I take off, and he drop kicks through my face. And then when he lands, his kneecap hits me in the eye socket.
Oh, damn.
And I'm concussed. I'm just gone at that point. I don't remember. I've seen the match. So I know what happens, but I don't actually remember going through and doing the match. Then they put heat on me for like a couple minutes. I somehow did all my spots. I don't know. But I remember the only thing that I actually remember happening was I remember the drop kick. I remember taking the spear at the end, and everyone's going Moose, Moose, Moose. And the next thing I know is, you know that Greek restaurant next to Orpheum?
Yeah.
I woke up in the bathroom taking shit. That's the next thing I remember. And like it was just a wild day. Apparently, I let Trent wear the socks I don't remember about.
That is a very concussed story.
It's that was concussion week, and it was so bad I don't remember like half of anything.
The Orpheum is wacky because it's not a good building for wrestling per se, but I love that strip.
It used to be. So early FIP days.
Okay.
Around that 2014 time, before they ran it into the ground, like we would pack the Orpheum, like back when John Davis was champ, and like we bring in Beretta and like Roddy, and it's more like I've seen that place packed, but then they've run it so much and they just don't promote that, like now it's not really that many people there.
It's such a weird dichotomy seeing how companies that really like stake their name on being indies that people could go to grow themselves have sort of fallen like backwards. I mean, granted, another company, I know that they're doing a lot right now to right the ship with Ring of Honor, but it was so weird for like a multi-year stretch where there would be people like Keith Lee or like Dijak where like you'd hear of them gaining steam on the indies. They'd go to ROH and ROH didn't have buzz. So their matches in ROH didn't have buzz. Like Keith Lee, you know, him and Shane Taylor might have had some great tag matches in ROH, but like at the time, just the way that things were run, the way that things were promoted, it was almost going into a void. You could have 800 people in the room, but that online audience that was really feeding it in the years prior their attention was elsewhere.
And yeah, it shows because I totally forgot Keith Lee was in the Ring of Honor.
Yeah,
I totally forgot him and Shane Taylor were a tag team. Because I think that's where I first met Keith Lee. It's crazy. Like Ring of Honor's I think they're doing better. They were doing better now.
No, I think creatively they have a direction now. I mean, even something as simple as the YouTube channel. Over the past couple months, they've really been growing in a better direction to where they're not only posting classic matches, but they're doing the smart thing of like, okay, you can't just have a random screenshot. Like you actually have to have like text. You have to have an active image. Like whoever's running their digital on top of whoever's running the television now, like I just feel like they've got better people in place. And I'm happy to see it because I mean, you know, I've had issues personally. I've been in the production side long enough that I won't say burned bridges, but I've made enemies, but at the end of the day, I want everybody that I'm friends with to work as many places as they can and make as much money as they can. I don't begrudge anybody of a booking, and I'm happy when I see promotions succeed. I'm happy when I see places, you know, pick up the steam or they get on the right track and they get everybody making more money or being seen by more people.
Obviously, I had my differences with WWE, and like it just didn't work out there. Like, well, I was there for a while, but it was time for me to go. I had to get out of the WWE bubble. But I'll see, like, I have friends like Anthony Green, like Josh Briggs, like Leon Ruff, like, good for you guys. I'm not gonna tell anybody, oh, you shouldn't go there. Like, no, like, your experience may be different than my experience. Just like people that leave WWE.
Absolutely.
Like, everyone has different experiences. Like, Ricochet is loving his time in WWE. He gets to perform on national television like pretty much every week.
He gets to be a superhero.
Yeah, like he's loving his time. Some people that leave, they may like who's shitting on him right? Ryback shitting on him right now. He probably didn't like his time. Like everyone has a different experience. Yeah. So like you can't sit there and say like, oh, it's just like with people. Like I may not like a person, doesn't mean you shouldn't like them. To me, I feel like everything's subjective. It's like wrestling. So like I'll see some things like, well, I don't really like that. I don't get it. So I just won't watch it. But I'm not gonna go online and complain about it and like shit on it like people do. I don't want to name names, but like people like it's everyone just because you don't like something doesn't mean it's wrong. Is how I feel.
I feel like the current climate with social media has made everybody feel like it's important that they weigh in on every single issue, regardless of whether they have any skin in the game.
Yes.
Like, and it's a combination of dogpiling, it's a combination of clout chasing, and it's just a combination of feeling like you need to maintain relevance. And if you don't give your 2 cents on something, then you're falling out of the conversation. I have friends that love them to death, or maybe even I just think they're a good person, but their tendency to jump into every hashtag or into every controversy is something that I look at and I'm like, I understand that your Twitter engagement is up, but if I was a fan, I wouldn't be looking at you like this great wrestler that I really want to go see on shows. I'd be probably compartmentalizing you the same way I would like the guy that sits on the train that just talks to himself pretty loudly. Like it's, you know, you can be seen and you can make yourself seen without making yourself overexposed.
Yeah, maybe I don't jump into things enough. That's the thing. I don't. Anytime there's like I keep my mouth shut because I don't know what the popular opinion is. So like. Honestly, like I'm getting better at now, but Twitter just is terrifying because anything you say, you can get canceled, like right there. So like I'm just real. real quick about what I tweet. Like I tweet my trying to be a good person videos, and I might like if I'm going like shitting on somebody, it's someone that I'm friends with and they know I'm just fucking with them.
Yeah.
So like I don't like to just weigh in on things because I can't. I don't want to get canceled.
I can't blame you. I mean, and it's a thing too where like there are people that'll take a statement like that and they'll be like, you know, oh, he must have bad opinions. It's not even the case. The conversation develops so rapidly at this point that it's like you really do not know if what you're saying is going to be taken so negatively by a subsect of the community that they're just going to try and spread it like wildfire.
Yeah,
like,
and then like you know me, I'm extremely sarcastic.
Yes.
And so like you can't get sarcasm out of through reading text.
No.
So like there's been times where I'm literally texting someone and like, what do you mean? I was like, oh, like, I didn't mean it like that. Like I'm just fucking around. Like so like you gotta like, I keep myself to myself. Like and plus like, I personally don't hear other people's opinions like about everything all the time. So like I'm not gonna share mine. Like I don't know. I don't know. I'll stick to just posting videos of Chris Statlander trying to teach me how to be a good person.
It seems to be working. So when did you get back? Talk a little bit about your injury.
So it happened last December. It was like a freak accident. And I don't blame him for it at all. Like some people are like, "Are you mad at Effie?" No, I'm not mad at Effie. It was a freak accident. We were at Fest and we were supposed to go like 25.
It's a long match for Fest.
Well, it was the main.
Oh, okay.
So all matches at Fest are freaking long because people don't know how to freaking stick to their times. So we call this like banger ass match too, and we go out. We start in like 4 minutes in. I'm calling for a O'Connor roll. Effie goes and gives me a suplex. So I think he's gonna put me to my feet. Because O'Connor roll we have to be standing, you know. Whatever.
Yeah.
I go land on my feet. He goes does suplex. My foot gets caught underneath us and just snaps. And I'm like, whoa, and nothing hurt. I just felt. I was like, whoa. And Frankie, he was like, what happened? I said, I think I just broke my ankle. He goes, what are you gonna do? So I don't know. Effie grabs me. I go, what? I can't stand up. Effie, leave me alone. So I like rake his eyes. I'm like, all right. And luckily, in a promo beforehand, because I was Fest champion, I was like, you know what? There's be some fucking rules at Fest. This is a regular match. No more of this hardcore bullshit. So just to piss the crowd off. So I go, I'm gonna hit him with the belt. Just disqualify me. And the belt was in the corner because I was gonna use it later. So luckily all this stuff happens. So I grabbed the belt, hit Effie. And I'm like, fuck. All right, I'm DQ'd. And he goes, what do you want to do? I said, get Saeed out here to cash in me right now. Because he had to come out and cash in the pick on the tree or whatever. He slides in, and like, my ankle's broken. Like, Frank said, what do you feel? I said, I don't feel anything. It just feels loose. Like, it just didn't feel like it didn't feel like my foot was attached to my...
Because you still had adrenaline.
Yeah, it didn't feel like my foot was attached to my leg anymore. So he's like, what do you want to do? I said, he slides in and goes, what do you want to do? I said, hit with your move. He goes, are you sure? I said, just get the fuck up there, hit with your goddamn move. So he hits like a blockbuster off the second. I feet up on 1 foot, take it. He hooks the broken leg. I'm like, of course. 1, 2, 3. Diamante jumps off and she goes, what happened? I said, I think I just broke my ankle. We gotta get the fuck out of here. So I roll the ring, we hop to the back, and I'm laying down on the back. I'm like, fuck. And Tony comes back and goes, oh, you really hurt? I thought you was doing an angle for time. So I don't give a fuck about your time, Tony. I'm hurt. I'm fucked up. Because you want to go to the hospital? I was like, no, I don't want to go to the hospital. Just give me some ice. So I have my foot in a bucket full of ice. TJ Boss puts me on his back and carries me to the car because Cruz is driving home. So I went. I get checked out the next morning. So I'm like, maybe it's just a really bad sprain because it doesn't hurt. Nothing hurts at this time. So I wake up the next morning, still nothing hurts. And I go. He's like, yeah, man, your ankle's broken. I go. He's like, how are you not in pain? So I don't know, man. Nothing hurts at all. He goes, well, that's wild. So yeah, nothing hurts. So he goes, oh, you probably don't need surgery. Go see his orthopedic. So I go to see orthopedic, whatever. I don't need surgery. He puts me in a boot, and literally I had zero pain for 2 weeks. And then one night I just woke up in the worst pain I've ever been in my life. I was like, what the fuck is going on? Nothing hurt. Why is this hurting now? So like when I was at the hospital at the ER, they was like, do you want anything for when we prescribe you anything for the pain? I go, no, I'm not in pain. So I went through this whole thing with no drugs, nothing. I was just dealing with the pain. And I was like, this is awful. I had no painkillers, anything. And like around that time was when my MLW contract was ending anyway. So I was like, let's just not pick up the option. Just let me go. And they were just nice enough to let me go. Like, I didn't have any hard feelings with MLW. Like, it just, again, I was seeing the writing on the wall of how things were going. I didn't feel like I was going to fit. And I didn't think they were going to change, like, their view of me was going to change by me being there. I had to, like, I felt like I had to go out and, like, go on my own and, like, do more than what I was already doing. Mm-hmm. And that could always, like, the doors was open for me to come back.
Yeah, no, I can totally see that, and I do feel like MLW suffers from the growing pains that come from being a new company that's trying to find stories as they're already airing television.
Yeah.
Like, they don't really have time to really just, like, break down and say, okay, this is going to be 6 months, and then be able to stick to it, because things change so rapidly. Like
me and Yuta, we didn't get a blow off, right? We had, like, one match, and, like, then just weren't on TV anymore. Like, it just wasn't. It just we broke up in a pre-tape. Like,
yeah, you did.
So like I missed Mania weekend last year. I was there, but I didn't get to WrestleMania weekend last year, and it was in New York, so that was like.
I remember you were there. Yeah.
I was just doing like high spot stuff, and I managed Swan on Pancakes Apologize, but like I was just doing high spot stuff, and it was like it kind of sucks, like because it really meant a lot to like wrestle in New York.
Yeah.
Because where I'm from, like for Mania weekend, but I had to miss out on that one. But like
that was a weird Mania weekend.
It was weird.
I think for the fact that everybody had to spend so much money on Ubers and Lyfts to try and get from venue to venue.
They ran Mania weekend, the busiest weekend of the year in the busiest city in the world. Like it was. I'm sure it was. I stayed at the high. I didn't leave the High Spots Hotel the entire weekend.
I just basically stuck between like Long Island City for MLW and then the hotel they had us put up in, which was in basically Yonkers. It was in New Rochelle.
Yeah.
So I just basically stuck between those two places. I felt bad for Barrington, because Barrington after the second MLW show was like, I'm going down to the Collective. I've got a spot on Blackcraft.
Oof.
And he went down. I think he spent like $100+ on an Uber by himself to go down and do Blackcraft. And as we're well aware, that Blackcraft.
Is that show out anywhere?
I don't think so.
Can you find it?
I don't think you can find it anywhere. No, I think they probably burned the footage. Oh. What a legendary night.
Oh man, I only heard about it. I didn't get to see it. I want to.
I mean, I'm sure when I talk to Gotch, he will be able to share some stories because he was in that locker room. He worked Penta that night.
Oh man!
So yeah, like keep some ears tuned for a future episode about Blackcraft.
I definitely want to hear about that. I ended up coming back in May because like they said, you should be good in like a month, like 2 months. And then they said like 6 to 8 weeks, but like that was just for it to heal. So everyone thinks 6 days. You can go right and go back. But no, you just have to do rehab and stuff. You have to do physical therapy. So I didn't want to like. My biggest fear was to go back and get re-injured. Because not only was I out of like wrestling, I was out of my job. So I was still on my couch. Like luckily I'm good with my money, so I was able to just like still play. Like I live with my own. I was able to pay my rent because I saved my money. Like, I spent way too much money on wrestling gear. But like. I save. I've always been good with money, so like I save my money just in case. You never know what happens. Which like right now, you never know what happens just in case.
Yeah.
So I'm in the same situation I was a year ago. So I had like a little cushion where I was able to stay out. I went back to work a little early, but like I didn't back to wrestling yet, and I wanted to make sure I got back in shape. So I didn't come back and I was like out of shape, like get hurt again, something like this. So I just took extra time. Like I probably could have wrestled Mania weekend. Actually, Sammy asked me, he's like, "Yo, did you want to do like Mania weekend, like a crazy 6-man tag?" I was like, "No, I don't want to do," because like I'm not gonna make Mania weekend my first week, and I have to like everyone wants to go hard Mania weekend.
Yeah.
Like I can't. No, I'm not gonna put that stress on my ankle at the time. So I waited till May, and I came back, and the first thing I did was Revolver, because of course I was gonna give Sammy that first one back, and then I did PWX, the War Games PWX, which I wasn't really happy with the War Games match, but that's a whole nother story. But yeah, like, and then I started just picking things up, and now I'm to the point where I don't even like wear a brace anymore. Like I feel like my ankle feels great.
Good. I'm glad for you, man.
Yeah.
I mean, like it seemed like you were at a position where you were really starting to gain more momentum when things unfortunately happened. And one of the things that I wanted to talk about was your experience being a wrestler based out of Florida on the independent scene. I feel like geography can play a really big part in how much certain people get a spotlight. Like looking back at 2011, November 2011, when I was first helping out with the production for Beyond, when they were still just doing the secret shows, the private tapings. They did a GoFundMe to get ACH up from Texas for a taping, because they were like, oh, there's this cool dude who's working, Texas Indies. He seems really athletic. He seems like he could be the next big thing. And Beyond fans, paid for ACH to come up and do the tapings. And he did a private taping. He worked AR Fox. I think he worked Aaron Epic that weekend maybe. And it was just a thing where, even though he did that at the time, he was still in Texas. And that it was not like an easy thing for him to suddenly get bookings. I know that he moved from there to, I want to say, St. Louis. Mm-hmm. And he was based in St. Louis for a while. And then obviously Orlando. But now he's back in Texas, and things have changed, but at the time, 2012, 2013, if you were based away from the tri-state area, if you weren't in SoCal, if you weren't in the Chicagoland area, it was like you weren't really going to be getting many shots on big shows. So, yeah. From your perspective, talk about that.
It's definitely been, harder. You go somewhere once, but you don't really get to go back because it's like, oh, we can't really keep bringing you back. There's this notion that flights from Florida are super expensive. Not really.
It's Orlando, Disney. I fly to Boston for $90.
Yeah, it's not really that bad. People just think, flights from Florida. So that automatically scares people. It's gonna be $400. Not really. The harder part is getting people to getting to talk, because when I did Black Label, not to be confused with Black Craft, Black Label is a great company out of the Chicago area. He was like, I just can't really afford it. I was like, look, I can find cheap flights. Just reimburse me. He's like, all right. So I just went and found cheap flights. Another thing with AEW, Danny Danzo was like, I could have, just you fly from Florida. I can't, people in AEW have been pushing me for 2 years. Since that, more than 2 years, 3 years now, because it's 2017 WrestleCon. People have been pushing me. He's like, he's a flight from Florida. So I finally talked to Danny, really just past December. He was like, if you did live in Florida, I have you every month. I was like, Danny, flights are not expensive. And the way it was working out, I was like, PWX was the next day. After everyone said, look, I can find cheap flights. He goes, well, what can you find for this date? And I looked, I said, $67, Danny, one way. I can book it right now if you reimburse me. He goes, done.
Yeah.
I go, yeah, it's not that hard. So people just think, flights in Florida are they're not. Florida scene gets looked at Florida in general. You hear something about Florida Man and stuff like that, which I've never run into Florida Man, but there's a lot of Florida Man out here.
I've seen him around the way. It's real sketchy.
But people just automatically think, Florida. There's nothing good out of Florida. Nothing good wrestling wise out of Florida. That's not the case. Ronin, it's a very good show. Mayhem Mill is a very good show. There's good wrestlers in Florida. People just gotta give them a chance. And then people think, it's just too expensive to get some money in. So it's not necessarily. It's just right now, people run these no ring shows. GCW did not no ring, no crowd shows. GCW did the Acid Cup, and everyone who did could just drive right there. I don't have that luxury to be able to just go drive right there. I don't have the luxury to go do the AEW show they were gonna do because it's right there. So it's it's been harder, but I've just been keep grinding, keep trying, and I've done some stuff. I've been places.
Yeah, you'll hit the Mid-Atlantic region, and you've been around to a few different areas outside of the Southeast. It's not that you're in isolation.
Yeah.
Well,
now I am. But it's different because we don't get as many opportunities. One opportunity, some people may get multiple chances. I'll get one. So I'm not gonna knock out the park every single time. Sometimes it works, and sometimes I get to go back. Sometimes I don't get to go back. It depends. I did Chaotic in December. Because I was just in the area. Mm-hmm. He's like, if you're ever in the area again, it's not maybe they don't have the budget to keep bringing someone in from Florida.
Yeah, and and Chaotic is very much a self-contained organization.
No.
It's very much. It's funny. Somebody recently made the joke because I don't even know why. On the last Chaotic show, they booked Josh Briggs versus Nick Gage, and the joke was that because Gage was booked, they maybe drew 10 new fans that were GCW fans. And the Chaotic fans were just oh, hey, be careful, guys, don't go too hard. And the GCW fans are fucking kill him, motherfucker, murder, death, kill. And it's Chaotic isn't really a super indie. If you go to, I went to one of their recent shows, and they have They have a great little crowd, you know, a couple hundred fans that are real diehards. When they run bigger shows, they'll do 500, 600, 700 fans. But it's not fans that are like seeking out all these different indies.
Yeah.
Like it's people that are chaotic fans, and I give them a lot of credit for growing that fan base. But it's funny when you see somebody who's notorious out of that environment come into it. Like chaotic is interesting like that. I would love to see you come up to Limitless.
That's a whole nother story. I won't get into that here. I would love to be at Limitless. I would absolutely love to be at Limitless. I'll leave it at that for now.
That's okay.
It's been like even Rich Palladino. He was like, I'd love to have you. Like, I want to try to get you to Beyond. I was like, look, I've been wanting to get to Beyond, and you're just like, oh, I can't really fly people in. It's like, well, they're not expensive. Like, you don't people just have this notion that because Florida's so far away, flights can be super expensive.
Yeah,
not necessarily, unless like Iowa flights are not like cheap. Like.
Well, yeah, there are certain areas like it's like the Von Erichs aren't going to get a bunch of bookings on the continental U.S. because you're flying in from Hawaii.
They're flying from Hawaii. What?
Yeah.
Holy. Okay.
Yeah, Ross and Marshall live in Hawaii.
Whoa. Okay.
Yeah.
Didn't know that.
Yeah.
But like, I can get to New York and back for like nothing. I can get to L.A. and back for like $100. Like it's not.
Oh yeah, no. Like even like United flights right now to the West Coast are crazy.
Yeah, well, every flight is cheap right now. Yeah. But like
in general,
yeah. Like I think round trip to Charlotte was like $40. I looked at it.
They were just like, we got seats.
Yeah, people just asking for gas money at this point.
Can we split trans?
Yeah, there's good guys out here that just need opportunity.
Absolutely.
Like not just talk about me. Like Snoop Strikes. Coda Brazil is his name in MLW. Yeah. Is another one.
Saif.
Yeah, Saif. Saif is out of Charlotte now.
Okay.
He's in Charlotte now.
Does Treehouse have a home, or is he just a transient individual?
I don't know if Treehouse has a home. I don't know.
Treehouse is another life form. Treehouse is like the Andre 3000 of pro wrestling.
Yeah, I don't really know where he. I don't know.
He's a strange cat.
Yeah, I see. Like I see him when I see. I don't know how to contact. Like every now and then he'll like
he's
say
that same type
on
of thing.
Twitter. Yeah.
Like I drove him down to a fest show, and it was a thing where like I gave him my address, and he was like, "Cool," and I said, "We're gonna be leaving around like noon." He goes, "Cool," and I wake up at like 7:30 in the morning to a text from him that says, "Hey, I'm outside your front door," and I'm just like, I got stuff to do this morning.
Another guy that people joke he's like a younger in the wrestling years version of me. Troy Hollywood is another guy I think deserves the world. He deserves so many opportunities.
I'm happy to see what they're doing with him at Mayhem.
Yeah, and it's like hopefully it'll make other like I'll keep until like I don't really watch much of anything, but like I'll see FIP and I'll see like him and Hunter and Snoop. They're doing their thing. It's like I'm glad they're doing right by them.
Yeah,
like my experience at FIP wasn't as great on the way out, but I'm happy that they're doing right by them. He's super talented. He just needs opportunity. Like I've tried my hardest to get him in PWX. It's just he's been up there like twice, but it's like it's so hard for me to get anybody booked there. But I'm combating some other forces up there.
I hear you.
But yeah, there's guys in Florida that are really really good. Like people out of 3D. Really good. Like Cruz does a great job training people. At 2.0, I guess you can kind of call them our students. It's so weird for me to say that. That Culture Inc. They're a good tag team that's coming up in the Orlando area, and they work their asses off trying to go to all these shows and just get a spot. And they're doing some stuff at ACW now every Wednesday, which is good for them. Like they need that. So.
I mean, everybody needs the spotlight, and it's just a matter of either forging your own spotlight or getting somebody who has one. You get that trust for them to give it to you. But I mean, outside of you actually working in pro wrestling, you've also been involved in a different facet of the industry.
Yes.
In the sense that you have done motion capture for WWE video games.
I have. I didn't do that much last year because my ankle was broken. But
when did you start doing the mocap for 2K? Was it all 2K?
All 2K.
All 2K.
It was what year was Swan in the game? 2K18?
Yeah.
So that shoot, that game.
Okay.
So like that came about because they needed someone that could do the standing 450 to do Swan stuff, and Swan put me up. He's had them hit me up. I was like, yeah, I can do Swan stuff. And at the time, like I had done the standing 450 like maybe once or twice, like in practice. But Swan's like, just tell me you can do it anyway, and I just teach you the secret. Like it wasn't like an active move. Like I wouldn't. It's not my move. I wouldn't do it. Like I've never done it on a show. I could do it at the time.
Yeah.
So like they brought me in. I did like all Swan stuff. I did Stand for 50. I did a couple other people. So I did some like Enzo stuff. Did some other stuff. But then like, the next year is when they brought me in. So remember when that Shinsuke entrance got really fucking good?
Yeah.
That was me. It was the coolest fucking thing. It was like, you want to do Shinsuke's entrance? Like, fuck yeah, I want to do Shinsuke's entrance.
And you just vibed. You were vibing.
Yo, I was having so much fun doing Shinsuke's entrance. So you know how they added Kyle O'Reilly playing the air guitar on the way to the ring?
Was it like a DLC thing, or was it like for year to year, like 2019?
I think 2020. I think this year they added him. Yeah, that's me doing Kyle O'Reilly with the fucking. I forgot other ones that I've done. They actually had to have me do some of Dakota Kai's stuff because some of the girls couldn't do it.
Yeah. But I mean, like it's funny to me because like there are some crazy athletic people out of the PC, like men and women, and so now is it a scheduling thing or is it a liability thing with them not having the contracted wrestlers do the mocap?
So I think it's a liability. So I think it's like they have to pay WWE as an appearance.
Yeah.
So I think it's like $10,000 to bring them in to do their own stuff. Where us, they pay us like $800 a day. Mm-hmm.
Which, I mean, is still, like, for production, a really solid standard day rate.
Yeah. But, like, $10,000 a day for, like, to have someone come in and do it, like,
yeah,
that's going to be way too much. And I think it is a liability thing. Like, they could get hurt.
Well, that
like,
was...
Amazing Red broke his ankle at mocap.
Yeah. No, I mean, I did a... I don't think it's ever going to see the light of day now because of the way recent events have transacted regarding things being canceled, but I had the opportunity to direct a commercial photo shoot campaign for WWE not too long ago, and one of the things that was told on the pre-production phone call was, we want this to look active, but we don't want you to actually have them doing any activities in the ring that could result in injury, because obviously the last thing you want to do is say, oh yeah, he tore his ACL for a WWE.com merchandise photo shoot. Like it doesn't work for anybody. Yeah. So I totally understand the liability side of it. In the United States, at least, WWE out of the PC largely has the market cornered for some of the best women's wrestlers available. Yeah, they do. And so you might not be able to find somebody else who could handle mocapping Dakota Kai.
Yeah. So it's funny because a dude will hit me up. He's like, I need girls that can book, because at the time he just had Santana, and I was like, oh, you can book this person. I named like Statlander, Penelope Ford, Kylie Ray, I named Allison Cade, but I need a bunch of people. Yeah, and then he gave me when I saw the list of girls, I was like, all the people that were people that I suggest. I was like, I'm kind of get you, which is kind of cool. But it was cool to get friends booked and stuff.
Yeah. How many people, how long are they typically doing the mocap for a game, and then how many people are typically there doing it?
It depends. We usually would start in October, and it'll go through July. It's monthly things, and sometimes they bring me in for 2 days, and then they bring me in for 3 days. I don't know. John Cruz went for 2 weeks once. I was like, God, you're lucky. But it just depends. They just cycle people in and out. And I've been there when we had 4 people. I've been there when we had 8 people. It just depends what they have to shoot. How much time they have to get stuff done. My favorite thing is to do entrances, though.
I mean, I would imagine.
Favorite thing.
Did you ever get to what? So
Shinsuke is the one that sticks out. That's my favorite one I've ever done.
Are any others that stick out where it was you had fun doing that entrance?
I did Danny Burge's entrance for him and Oni. Okay. But it's not even in the game. So I was like, why are they even... They're not in the game.
Was it a DLC thing?
No, it was for 20.
Oh.
Yeah, but they didn't put... I don't know. Well, I was like, it's cool to do some my friend's stuff. Yeah. So, that's... There was one... so everyone was trying to do Buddy Murphy's entrance. And everyone was trying to do it. And no one could do that slide. It's we can't... We're getting stuck. And I was just sitting on my phone playing. And he's like, okay, you want to try? I was like, okay. So I went and I just did it. First try. It was like, what do we have you do it the whole... But I was like, I don't know, man. I didn't know I could do it either. I just did it.
Just did it. Oh man,
that was a funny story.
it's cool though that, I mean, obviously you're somebody who actively when the games come out, you play them. You enjoy getting to see the progression of the WWE video games, and you've been able to be behind the scenes. You've been able to take part in the process. That's bragging rights, but it's also like, do you feel like you have a deeper appreciation for the development of the games?
It's 100%. Like, I'll sit there. We'll just talk about the game and stuff, and I was like, look. Even up until like even last night, I was texting them about like the game and stuff and different things that ideas and everything. I don't know if they're ever gonna use any of my ideas, but like I tell them what the stuff that I do in the game, because we play the game religiously. They haven't too much this year, but now that I have nothing but time on my hands, I am. But it's so much fun. I never thought I'd be able to like work on a video game, and I get the games for free now. So
Extra
cool.
bonus.
Yeah, that's cool.
Extra bonus. Thank you for coming out today.
Yeah, man.
Thank you for taking part in this interview. I want to give you a moment. I understand that there's not exactly many shows going on these days, but by all means, feel free to plug your own personal, work that you have coming out.
I have my Instagram, my Twitter at Jason Cade _, and every Wednesday, there's a new video of how Chris Statlander tried to teach me how to be a good person. I think I started in like November, weekly.
Keeping it going
and just keep going. I am going to open a Pro Wrestling Tees store. I don't have one right now.
Okay,
but I am going to open one.
All right. Well, I mean, this will be up for an extended period of time. We're recording this in late March 2020, so
by the time this airs, there should be a Pro Wrestling Tees store pinned to the top of my profile at Jason Cade _. Go ahead and follow me.
All right. Well, once again, Jason Cade, thank you very much for coming on for the first episode.
Thanks for having me.
All right. Thank you, everyone, for listening. Catch you next time.
I'm afraid to leave the house. I'm as timid as a